Okie dokie. So you've done the face puzzles. The first lesson today is going to be English, or first proper lesson is going to be English, and it's a persuasive writing exercise. Writing to whom? Writing to Mr. Magee, your head teacher. Creative writing. Your task today is going to be to write to your head teacher, Mr. Magee. You are writing a letter to persuade him to change the school for the better. So what are you going to ask Mr. Magee for? You can ask for mufti every day, no homework, a bouncy castle on the playground, longer or shorter school days, interesting, could be a nap time after lunch for all year groups, would love that, from 1 till 2 perhaps, a nap time, PE every day, perhaps you would like iPads in every single lesson, or anything else you can think of that you think would improve the school. If I were you, I'd go for something more serious than silly, because if it's something more serious and actually realistic, you're going to have some more points to make, because you've got to persuade Mr. Magee that your idea is worth doing. You need reasons. You can't just say, I think it would be fun. You have to explain why your idea would work. What benefits would there be? What good things would come from your idea? You want to aim for about 3 good points in your letter to Mr. Magee. An example. Now, this isn't to Mr. Magee, but this is an example of a persuasive letter. Dear Father Christmas, how are you? I hope that your reindeer are well. I am writing to tell you what I would like for Christmas, because I've been trying very hard to be good this year. So right at the top, we've got who it's to. The date is top right, and we've got the intention. I am writing to you. In your case, it's I'm writing to you, Mr. Magee, to persuade you that you should do my idea to improve Great Missenden School. Anyway, I would really like a shiny red scooter so that I can ride to school quickly. Could I have a big silver horn on the handlebars, perhaps? My friend Sarah has a scooter, and she can scoot at 8 miles per hour. I want to see if I can scoot faster than her. I would also like a warm winter jumper to wear when it snows. I would love it if the jumper could be red and have penguins on the front. I've been trying very hard to be kind to my sister. I'm also very good at being the special helper at school. I hope that I have been nice enough to be on your good list this year. I hope that your preparations for Christmas Eve are going well. What a busy man you're going to be. From Chen James. So you see what we've got here. We've got point, and right at the end it's kind of, I hope this, it's re-ending it with a nice sentiment at the end, in this case for Father Christmas, but yours is going to be for Mr. Magee. So here's the layout that we need to have. Top right needs to be your address. Now, if you don't want to do your address, you could do a silly address. I put my example letter on later on. I think it's from Mr. Tang lives on Tangington Road in Tangland. You can put their address. In this case, I wouldn't worry about their address so much. The full date that goes underneath the address, and who are you writing it to? So in this case, dear Mr. Magee. You do know them, but if you don't know them, you'd put dear sir or madam. Now this bit is the bulky bit for a reason. You're going to introduce what you want, and you need to say why you think it would be a good idea. So, in my opinion, I think it would be a great idea if we had a nap after lunch every single day. Now, you want to have lots of reasons why. How is that going to work for Mr. Magee? Now, think about Mr. Magee. What do you think he would like to have? If you want to say everyone's going to have a nap, then how does that benefit him? You could say that everyone will do better in the afternoons because they're going to be more rested and be more awake and alert for their afternoon learning. Give lots and lots of reasons. Use the word because. Ask them questions to get them thinking. Don't you think it's a good idea that everyone is rested and ready for learning? So those are called rhetorical questions. And at the end, you want to close it with yours sincerely, because you do know who he is. If you don't know who you're writing to, you put yours faithfully. But you do know Mr. Magee, so you put yours sincerely. So here's my example of what I would write to Mr. Magee if I were you. Ready? My example. I live in 10 Tangington Road, Tangland, and the date is the 18th of June. Dear Mr. Magee, I'm writing to you to persuade you to introduce my idea to Great Missenden School. By the way, if you want to pinch that, you can do. My idea is that we have a school dog. What is a school dog? It is a dog that belongs to the school. He would live at the school and be looked after by 2C. How can a dog in school be helpful? There are a number of reasons. We could use the dog for reading. Every child in year 2 could read to the dog for 5 minutes a week. It would inspire us to read more and get better at our reading, which is really important. The dog could help us in PE. He would inspire us to work harder, run faster, and put in more effort. Looking after the school dog would be a good experience for year 2. We could be in charge of toilet training, behaviour training, and teaching him to be gentle. Doing this would make us be more responsible. But what about people with allergies? We can ensure that the school dog only works with children who are not allergic to dogs. Over the summer holidays, children or teachers could look after him. Think of all the adventures he could go on. I really hope you consider my idea. I'll let you name the dog. Yours sincerely, Mr. Tang. My top tips. First top tip is to use the word because. Explain your idea. For example, wearing pajamas at school will be worth it because we will be more comfortable and happier. Another example. A nap time every day would be great because we would then be more refreshed for an afternoon of lessons. And that's what you want to do. You want to explain your ideas in lots of depth. You can use a rhetorical question, a question that Mr. Magee doesn't have to answer, but it's going to make him think. Wouldn't that be great? Don't you agree? Isn't reading important? Why should we have only 3 days in school? Interesting. My top tips. Use a conditional sentence. Now, if you don't know what that is, it's basically a sentence. It's going to use the word if. If this happens, that happens. So you want to say, if we do my idea, everyone will be so happy and will work so hard. If you agree, you won't regret it. If we do more PE, we'll be fitter, healthier, and more energetic. So it's kind of like, if you do this, what's going to happen? So that will get Mr. Magee thinking, wait a minute, that idea is really, really good. Now it's your turn. Good luck. You can write it out as a handwritten letter. You can do it on Word if you would like to. You could also, if you wanted to, do a little video. Up to you. I'm not going to tell you to do it, but I will say this. Every single person that writes in a persuasive letter to Mr. Magee, I'm going to include in a video I'm doing with Mr. Magee where he's going to respond. Say, for example, if you ask for a bouncy castle on the playground, I'm going to film him doing his responses. So you'll get some feedback from my good friend, Mr. Magee. Good luck. Enjoy. If you need any help, please give me a shout on the Key Stage 1 email address. Thanks.